Good evening, ladies. My name is Tiffany Eleazer. This is my speech for my Communications 1010-03I. This is my persuasive speech entitled Spanking. Is it okay? According to the Merriam-Webster Dictionary, the definition of abuse is a corrupt practice or custom, improper or excessive use or treatment. Language that condemns or vilifies, usually unjustly and angrily, or physical maltreatment. Spanking is defined as to strike, especially on the buttocks, with the open hand. Beating is defined as to strike repeatedly, to hit repeatedly so as to inflict pain, to walk on, to strike directly against forcefully and repeatedly, to flap or thrash at vigorously. According to the United States statutes pertaining to spanking, under Louisiana law, in determining abuse, the agency should take into account that injury may have resulted from what might be considered reasonable discipline for a child's misbehavior under the Children's Code, Article 615A. The purpose of spanking a child is for training, not punishment, and never to vent anger. For their psychological well-being, children need to know where there are firm boundaries they must not cross. For their physical safety, they need to know it is important to obey their parents. You cannot reason with a child who is determined to run into the street. This is where a firm boundary must be set, and pain can be a tool for sound training to save a child's life in the future. There are many such boundaries which must be set in early childhood, but once set need no further explanation. Once defined, should always be answered with an immediate spanking. The child must know when to listen and obey. In situations where there are several attempts have been made to communicate and the child refuses to listen to them, a spanking will get their attention from now and in the future. The most effective method I've seen includes a verbal countdown to the actual spanking. 1, 2, 3. Once a child knows a spanking is coming when you get to 3, you rarely ever get there before the child listens and obeys. Every parent knows their child will test the boundaries they set. So for the training to be successful, the boundary must be firm, and crossing it must always result in a spanking. No exceptions on how it makes you feel as a parent. It is hard to know exactly what percentage of parents or caregivers, such as grandparents, actually spank a child, because many do not admit it. Essentially, people spank at least occasionally. Caregivers from older generations who were spanked as a child feel as though it is absolutely necessary because they turned out fine. Grandparents, even older adults or older parents, spank them appropriately who have spanked. Even older parents whose parents spanked them appropriately indicate they remember the experience. As a result, effectively learn to not repeat the same inappropriate child action again. Hurried parents, often of multiple young children, who spank, but usually refer to it as an occasional smack or slap rather than a spanking. These parents indicate that they only correct their children this way when it involves an inherent danger to the child themselves or to others. An example of this would be when a child goes to touch the hot stove. You smack their hand to stop them. Caregivers, parents, or any adult may also spank the child after being disciplined by using another method, deliberately repeating the same behavior, as if to antagonize the parent. An example is a child who runs to the store and pulls everything off the shelves after being told not to repeatedly. You see this too with kids stepping into the streets after they've been told to stay on the curb. Swatting a child gets their attention and may stop the behavior and possibly a tragedy from occurring. I believe in not spanking a child out of anger, but spanking to teach them respect.
This is needed to the nurse's station.
But spanking to teach them respect for others and others' personal belongings. My definition of spanking is a quick but firm swat to smack a hand, thigh, or buttock, with the spanking meaning to inflict pain but not leave bruises, marks, or welts. Follow an explanation of why they received the spanking in terms that is appropriate for their age. However, I feel as though when a child is beat out of anger or is abused by a person because they are upset at something else and have become overly frustrated by that child, it is best for that person to take time out themselves, to calm down, to reevaluate the situation, or possibly find help. With my being a nurse, I am a mandated reporter of child abuse, and I uphold that to the fullest. I feel that all children are innocent, and the only way they know right from wrong is to be taught in the manner in which they were taught. Thank you. If there are no questions, ma'am? No? Okay. Well, thank you.